Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters. I hope you're praying your salahs as well as looking to the Qur'an and Hadith for guidance in your everyday life. If you're watching this video and it's salah time, please pause it and go pray and come back when you're done. Please also check out the description section of this video to get my new dawah products and to support the channel. I was sent a clip by a channel member of a recent interview Muslim brother Akhi Ayman did. Brother Ayman is a British Muslim with Iraqi roots that is a respected speaker and is consistent in spreading the deen to the urban youth in the West. I must say that I respect him very much and always learn something when I hear him speak. In this interview, Brother Ayman stated that there is a correct method of both parenting and how to treat parents, and in particular singled out the Pakistani, Bangladeshi and Somali communities for doing so incorrectly, and even went as far as to say these communities are in danger of damaging their kids if they don't do it in the way he sees as correct. If you would like me to react to any of your suggested videos, please become a channel member via the join button on my page. Let's roll the clip.
There's a lot of parents that contact me to try and speak to their kids and so on and so forth, and try to go further in trying to educate them and make them learn from my past and not, take the mistakes that I've done. So I know the Bangladeshi community, they've got me more than my own community. I go to different communities, I see uncles, great beards, if they're Bengali, Somali, Pakistani, Iraqi, Egyptian, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter, I'm looking at them, knowing that they're struggling with their shopping and so on and so forth. But yeah, you got your young teenage kids or even adult kids that are not there for you. Islam tells us how we should be towards our parents, regardless if they're Muslim or not. That's what Islam teaches us. A lot of revert brothers, even when they come to the deen, they still know they have to play their duties with their parents. They have to obey them, they have to respect them, they have to care for them. This is what a Muslim is. So don't tell me, just because my parents disrespect me or my parents don't care for me. Akhi, you don't know the struggles that your parents are fighting through. But there's certain things that our parents are suffering in silence. There is times that I'm making sure there's food on your table, but we're not eating. You're clothed. When we got ripped up shoes on ripped up trainers and ripped up clothing, making sure your health is good, but we're secretly dying. You see, a lot of people that come out of prison nowadays, they come out to be a better Muslim. But you are a man that comes from a Muslim upbringing, but yet you're still jahil. Doesn't make sense. My advice to you is that don't ever look down on someone when you yourself or your family could fall into it. And this is something that happened amongst a man from my community, from Southeast London, where he went and studied. But when he came back to the UK with his family that was a niqabi and his kids and so on and so forth, yeah, and he established himself here and he had a house and everything was well done. But he started pointing at other people and their faults and their mistakes, and this guy is jahil, this woman is not covering up, and this man's son is a drug dealer, and this and that. Wallahi, Allah tested him with the same things. His wife stopped wearing the niqab completely and stopped wearing the hijab. His wife became an addict. His son became a drug dealer to the level where he was selling drugs to his own mother. His daughter became the biggest you-know-what in the ends. I believe I failed as a father. I'm not pointing fingers at my own dad. He did his best. He made sure we went to madrasa and studied the Qur'an and studied the hadith and doing Arabic lessons and so on. But in reality, when you're not having that connection with your father, as a normal, average household should be, it has an impact on my kids now. No matter how much I do to try and correct myself, it's never enough for myself. Because a man's role, a father's role, is to make sure that his kids do better than him in every aspect of life. To never ever go down the same rabbit hole as you did, getting yourself involved in madnesses and going to prison and so on and so forth. Alhamdulillah, I've got a good woman. When I don't play my part, she does her thing. She does above and beyond for the kids. If I was to give you a percentage of how much we've taught the kids, I would say it's about 80-20. She gets the 80%. I think it's even lower than that for myself. And the Imam told me, why don't you take your kids to your talks? I said to him, I can't. With the way I speak and the language I use, I wouldn't want them to see their father in that state. They're still young. My daughter's 5. My stepson's 10. I wouldn't want them to get in that situation where they're like, rah. And plus, it's overwhelming. It will be for them. And seeing this crowd of people coming. So for me, I'm not trying to connect the two worlds, if that makes sense. If you're not a leader at home, and the balance is not there, but you're a leader to someone else. And I've only been a leader to someone else. And I'm trying my best. For me, coming home at times, I've had a long day, and my family's been over the moon to see me. What I've now taken and absorbed from outside is damaged my family. So for me to say, I understand my kids could look at me and say, you know what, my father is a leader. Look at the lives he's got, you know, whatever, that's between them and Allah. But I might be changing people's lives. What about our lives? I'm not there for them. I've always wanted them to make sure that no matter what they're going through in school, you already know what's happening in schools today. We know they're trying to distract us away from the deen of Allah. But if the source at home, which is the wife, is educated and well-mannered in the way she portrays this image of Islam, then whatever was to come outside of the household, the kids will never, ever be affected by it. So for me, I always encourage my wife. Sometimes we have these conversations of, let's homeschool. I said to her, but that's too difficult. It requires a lot of effort on both parties, the man and the woman, the husband and the wife. In reality, they could go to the most jahil school and talk about every aspect and every filth. If the core, which is the household, is stable upon the right aqidah, nothing could damage you. My kids know what's right and wrong. They know whatever is to come to them. What do? They accept it, but they don't go along with it. For me, the most important thing, and I say this to my wife, and Allahumma barik, she studied in Egypt herself, so she puts me in my place when I'm out of place. Qur'an and hadith is getting dashed at me left, right and centre. The future are the kids. And not today's kids, by the way. I don't think today's kids are the future. Today's kids is who we need to shape into being a man and a woman. It's their kids that are the future. The kids are not even here yet. They are the future that we need to worry about. But if we right now don't tackle what we have right now and establish this to the best understanding of the Qur'an and Sunnah and the sources of the Qur'an and the Sunnah, they're going to take and do every single aspect of filthiness outside the household.
So it's clear from this clip that the brother is making complete sense. He also mentioned people from Egyptian and Iraqi backgrounds, as well as reverts. So basically he's saying this applies to all Muslims in the West, regardless of their background. I especially like the point he made about how we should not be short-sighted and only think about our children, but instead we should extend our vision to our grandchildren, which is a beautiful thing for two reasons. Firstly, because these are our children's children, and how we parent our kids teaches them how to parent their own kids in the future. Hence, we must keep that in mind and not create generations of trauma. Secondly, this is a long-term plan to instill Islamic principles in our family for generations to come, as well as for our Muslim Ummah as a whole if everyone does the same. Brother Ayman spoke about the silent sacrifices our parents make for us, and I can acknowledge this to be true now that I am a parent myself. I would rather go hungry and have my kids eat because they always come first. He also spoke about how Muslim parents in the West are not being supported when they reach old age by their adult children. This is shameful and makes us no better than non-Muslims. When I was younger, your parents living alone or in an old folks home was not acceptable, especially in South Asian communities. We need to take it back to our roots and to what the scripture tells us. The Qur'an tells us to be good to our parents. Allah commands us not to even say a minor word of annoyance to them, and places great emphasis on the kind, respectful and tolerant treatment of parents, especially when they reach old age. Akhi Ayman also spoke about people growing up in Muslim households in the West and not even knowing the basic principles of Islam. This is applicable to my generation and one before mine, which is a reality check in terms of the lack of deen our kids may have in the years to come unless we reverse this alarming situation. We must ensure we're not just Muslims by name and culture, but instead in faith and conduct. That's why my husband and I have created a Muslim fellowship for fellow Western parents to join, so we can help and support each other through these tricky times. The link for the free Telegram group is in the description. The brother pointed out that his lack of a connection to his father has affected how he parents his own kids. It was very honest of him to share where he feels he is falling short as a parent. This shows that just having a regimen of Quran, Salah and Mosque, though as necessary as it is, needs an additional loving and caring touch, which is achieved through being living and breathing examples to our children. We have to spend time with them and connect with them on a level that is deeper than just telling them what to do. And if that connection is not there will come a time when they are older. They will rebel against what has been regimented and come to resent their parents. However, if a connection is established, there is a much higher likelihood they will stay on track for the long term. The brother spoke very highly of his wife also, and from what he said, she seems like a good woman and a good mother. The greatest virtue of being an ideal wife is obedience. If a wife is obedient towards her husband regarding halal matters, the rest of the husband's rights will automatically be fulfilled. A wife's role in Islam is considered quite significant, as she is is the one that runs a family both physically and mentally. A family does not feel like a family when the duties of a wife in Islam are neglected. A wife must be a role model for the children, take care of the children, ensure there is a religious environment in the home, give her husband mental support and provide him with peace and comfort. The brother also gave a reminder to us to not point the finger at and look down on our fellow Muslims in arrogance, which I agree with. Instead, we should be conscious of our own past sins and current shortcomings before we criticise others. The haram police in the comment section need to take note. There was a point that I disagreed on with Akhi Ayman, and that is his statement about it being okay for Muslim kids to go to schools that teach haram curriculums. To be fair, he did emphasise the need for a solid Islamic culture in the home to give children a firm foundation to go along with this, which he is 100% right about. My point of disagreement is, no matter how solid your foundation in Islamic culture in the home, the years of brainwashing from age 5 to until they are teenagers from their peers, teachers and social media is too powerful in comparison to just 2 parents. And in this case, it's mostly his wife who handles that side of things, so it's only one parent versus many opposing forces. However, if the kids were in Islamic school or being homeschooled, it eliminates countless haramis from influencing their kids, and with all due respect, I feel the good brother is being too relaxed with this. And credit where credit is due, he and his wife seem like responsible parents. And just imagine if your dad was Akhi Ayman, that would be pretty cool. I urge you brothers and sisters, at the very least, we must not be complacent when it comes to our children, as the dangers we face in their upbringing are very real when it comes to how these powerful dark forces want to control the minds of our future generations. We must do all we can to not let this happen. Please like, comment, share, subscribe and turn on notifications, as I'll be posting new content daily. Jazakallah khair.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah